In about a year, one of the world's most prestigious sporting events is coming to Toronto. But the city's mayor now warns it may not be able to pay for it, as it finds itself in a funding dispute with the province.
The $178 million is all we can afford, not a penny more. So we will have to either find $40 million somewhere, I'm not sure where, or we will have to cut the budget by $40 million. There's no other way.
At the heart of the issue, according to a new report before Council Wednesday, is the province's commitment to the $380 million cost, which is being split three ways by all levels of government. Ontario is committing about $97 million, with the city learning it's factoring services like security and transit station upkeep into that spend.
I would want the province to pay its fair share in cash, not just services. The city's going to run the TTC the whole time, but I don't think we're putting money towards operations of the TTC. So the province has regular operations. Get that off the balance sheet and come up with the money that we need.
A December 2023 letter from the province makes clear that services would be incorporated into the budget, but Toronto didn't expect them to be so much of it. Of its $97 million commitment, the province is budgeting for $15 million in increased healthcare demands, $14 million for the OPP, and $6.6 million for transit needs delivered by Metrolinx, among other smaller spends.
Ontario will be there to support and stand by its commitment.
But no more than the $97 million?
No more than the $97 million. We were clear up front. I'm clear today.
The chance for budget cuts has some councillors worried about what kind of World Cup Toronto can host.
The whole idea was to showcase the city. What are we going to actually be showcasing? Are we just going to embarrass ourselves? And I think that's what this is boiling down to.
The city's World Cup team is still negotiating with the province, and councillors are expected to discuss the issue Thursday. Lane Harrison, CBC News, Toronto.
The 2026 FIFA World Cup games will also be under discussion at City Hall. The mayor expressing concern about funding from the province, saying there's a chance they may have to scale back the budget for the matches. Clara Pasica joins us now from one of the planned World Cup venues, BMO Field. And Clara, what is the latest on this?
Well, Dwight, there is certainly lots of excitement for some about these FIFA games. 6 matches expected to be played in Toronto just over a year from now, June 2026. But it also, of course, comes with a pretty big price tag. It's about $380 million cost to the city. Now, about $200 million of that is expecting some support from the federal and the provincial government. The federal government has a plan that funding is in place and seems to be going well. However, from the provincial government, that's where we're seeing some issues from the city. Recently, the provincial government saying that more than expected is going to be coming not in cash, but in provincial services. So that's something that's certainly causing some concern for the mayor of the city, Olivia Chow. Have a listen.
EMS, paramedics, EMS is 50% paid by the City of Toronto. Are they calculating 100%? I don't know. That's $15 million. Public health is cost share by the City of Toronto. Are they just adding their percentage, or are they adding in our percentage? Surge capacity. What kind of surge capacity? I don't know. I'm not into the healthcare business. But by the way, healthcare belongs to the provincial government, not the city government.
Now, we spoke to the provincial government. The provincial Minister of Finance, Peter Bethlenfalvy, spoke about this issue. We're asking him, is the province willing to step up with more cold, hard cash? He had this to say.
We will be there for $97 million. We were very clear when we said that. We did say as well at the same time, that's it. And they accepted that at the time.
Now, multiple councillors are speaking about this. We know that they're speaking all together about this at a meeting at City Hall. Discussions about what to do about this funding shortfall. Will they need to cut from the FIFA budget? But it's also raising some long-term concerns about the event in general. Here's Councillor Josh Matlow.
I've always been critical of the deal that the former mayor agreed to. It really left the city on the hook for far too much at a time when we have a backlog of financial challenges we already have, including even just improving services, improving infrastructure, maintaining our parks, getting our roads paved, etc. So these games are going to be fun. They're going to be important to many of our communities, but there's no way that we should be picking up another $40 million bill when the province has the ability to pay for it in a way that we don't.
Now, councillors like Josh Matlow, multiple councillors saying, you know, the province is going to benefit a lot from this event. The way that the tax structure works in this country, things like HST, when you have a lot of tourists spending a lot of money, that could benefit the province. So they're raising those types of arguments. We'll see how it all unfolds as this is going to be discussed at this council meeting.
And soccer fans are hoping they figure it all out. Thank you, Clara.
Vaughn Alexander is off to Oklahoma City, where he's going to watch a showdown between his son and his nephew.
Yeah, they're going to go hard at each other, and they've been doing it all their life.
So it's not going to give you much last week.
They play defense. SGA slithers his way inside for the scoop off.
Son and Nikhil Alexander Walker, who plays for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and is Vaughn's nephew.
I am trying to take his head off for sure.
In this time, the only thing I care about is making sure that the Wolves get 4 wins.
That kind of competitiveness is nothing new for these two cousins, who were born less than 2 months apart back in 1998. And Vaughn says they started competing against each other before they could even walk.
And it's something they've been doing all their life, right? Like they used to go at each other. Like I said, they're like, 5-6 weeks apart. Been playing sports all their life, soccer, basketball, baseball, any sport they play, football, they've been playing, and then we go at it together, video games.
But he says they never let anything come between them.
100% best friends, and they still are to this day.
It's hard to even explain. Like, if you know how close we are, he's literally like my second brother. He's been through every stage of life with me, picking up a basketball to going to prep school to making the NBA. Like, we've gone through every situation together. For both of us to be where we are is special. To compete against each other is even more special.
I think 10 years from now, 20 years from now, I'll be able to really appreciate the moment and for what it was and to know what we were able to accomplish.
Vaughn says he was their coach when they were kids and played basketball together. One of his proudest moments was the first time they faced each other in the NBA. He says it was surreal.
They exchanged jersey, that jersey swap. Yeah, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
That was a big deal. That felt bigger than even right now, if that makes sense, because it was just the first time. It was just like, what the hell?
The stakes are much higher now. The two cousins are fighting for a chance to play in the NBA final.
I can't lose, right? I got 2 kids in the Western Conference Finals, right? So I can't lose. It's a win-win situation. I just want both of them to play well, be healthy, have a good series, and after that, I'll celebrate either way. You still have to kind of sometimes pinch yourself and be like, yo, I'm not going to wake up from no dream, am I? This is real, right?
Greg Ross, CBC News, Toronto.
Your phone dialed into 911. Do you need police, fire, or an ambulance?
We are switching from old copper wire telephony to new digital technology, the same stuff the internet's made of. The old technology wasn't really supportable anymore. We had to get off it, and so that's why the CRTC mandated that all services move off of the old technology. We've got to make the call response faster, and we've got to make the job of call takers easier.
And so for people who don't know what that means, what differences will we see because of that?
Well, so it really enables us to move forward with a lot of new technologies. What's going to happen today is text messaging to callers who've pocket dialed.
I've dialed into 911 and I'm actually going to disconnect the call. And what you'll notice when I disconnect is immediately I'm going to get a text back from the system asking me to confirm if I have an emergency or not. So I've dialed 911 here, you can see, and I'm hanging up and the call. And then what we will see is that our 911 system will send a text message directly to the caller to have them confirm if they have an emergency or not. If you do, your call goes back in queue and an operator will call you back. If you don't, the call drops completely from our system, and this will eliminate a lot of the backlog we have on our 911 lines of these misdialed calls.
And so I'm sure most people have experienced taking their cell phone out of their pocket and seeing that somehow they've dialed an emergency line.
Yeah.
How much does this back up the system?
A third of our calls are those kinds of didn't intend to, shouldn't have called kind of calls. And you can think of a third of the volume, that's a pretty high amount. So we're spending about 30 hours a day on those types of calls right now.
How does this technology lay the groundwork for even more technology changes in the future.
So we're looking at AIs that can support call takers, that can do real-time language translation, that can help pick up on things that the caller is saying, that is linking to records that we might already have, or doing some of the work that takes the labor off of the call taker. I think that would be an awesome thing.